like, I'm sure a physicist can tell you how fast they go. And then something right up, almost catch it and make a right-hand turn and go at a velocity faster than the shooting star. So, I can't say how fast, you know, it's beyond comprehension, really.
Right, right. And it was over in a matter of seconds, right?
I'll bet you 3 seconds it was over. I just happened to be looking up at the right time, and I witnessed this. And really, the whole thing about it is how it changes your belief system after you witness something like that. And it's like, okay, well, now what? You know, everything that we know is changed, or at least what I know. And I think I've told my wife and maybe my best friend, but I'm comfortable in telling them coast to coast because we're all over.
You come to the right place. Exactly. You come to the right place. And so how you say it's changed your life. So what, other than maybe making you rethink who we are, what we are, you know, are we alone in the universe, how else has it changed your life?
Well, I never used to, like with the advent of being able to search everything online and being able to go on Netflix and research everything about other planets, you know, and then you can go and see all those pictures of like the different Mars rovers and the things that you see on those pictures, and you go like, well, wait a minute, some of those things, they have to be like man-made or artificially made. And so you just keep searching for more information, and you get more curiosity about, okay, something else is out there, and you have to know what it is. And I know it was only a 3-second visual thing that I've seen, but when you see that thing make a right-hand turn and go amongst the stars, away from the thing they was chasing, all in 3 seconds, there's no way that came from this planet. Like, it doesn't matter what government it is. That did not come from this planet.
So, you said that you just happened to be looking up in the stars at the right time. I hear this so often from people. I just happened to be looking up. Do you think it's possible it wasn't just serendipity, you happened to be looking in the right place at the right time, something or someone caused you, propelled you, compelled you to look up at that time?
Well, after listening to this show and some of your guests, you often wonder, like, maybe there's this, like, because we're all apparently connected through time and space, maybe there's something to that. Like, maybe there's some sort of consciousness, certainly not that we have with whatever that was, because I don't want to say exactly what that was, but maybe there's a consciousness with that, you know, somehow knowing I'm looking up, but I don't want to go any further than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all speculation.
No, that's the right attitude, I think. You don't want to get, as we say up here in the Great White North, too far out over your skis. But I'm guessing these days you're doing a lot of looking up, right? Maybe hoping to catch a glimpse of another one.
Well, whenever I get in the truck and I stretch my legs, like if you're to do that, we were driving down the road and you're hauling 80,000 pounds, it could get a little dangerous. But yeah, certainly when I'm, and actually, I'm in your neck of the woods. I'm about an hour and 45 minutes north of where you live. So the stars are really bright when I'm at home, up in Bracebridge. But
you're from Bracebridge. All right.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything. Like, I've often looked up the stars, and sometimes it's if you look long enough when you're up there, because we have a pretty good acreage. It can almost be blinding, like how bright the stars get, because there's no like light interference.
Right. No, it's spectacular, to be sure. Hey, great hearing from you, Don, and I hope you'll call again. Drive safely. Next time you see something, give us a call. All right, let's go back to the wild card line. Mark is in Baltimore. Hey, Mark, welcome.
Thank you, Richard. It's nice to speak to you. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Yes, you were talking about inventions before, and I've come up with two of my own, and haven't put them in yet into those kits they give you, but these are my two ideas. The simple one first is, you know when we rinse out our kitchen sinks and there's always a few crumbs that are left in the sink, invariably, no matter how much we try to rinse out our kitchen sinks and we sponge them, and there's always a couple of crumbs that are still left.
Well, at the very least, and especially, I got teenage boys. They don't realize we don't have a garburator, so they just scrape everything off their plate into the sink. I mean, you don't want that to go down the drain.
No. So I created something that connects to the faucet, that it's a sweeper. I'm an electrician, so I invented an electric sweeper with very, very light bristle brushes, like at the end of a broom, and the real light feathery brushes. It brushes the sink in a round way, and it makes sure all the crumbs go down the drain. That's the first invention. The second one is, I think, a little bit more ambitious. And what the second invention has to do with a plunger for the bathroom. And most people have those holders that they put them in. They come with these holders, but they just plunge it, and then they just put it back in the holder, and the plunger just stays, and they're all grody and everything.
Not very sanitary, to be sure.
Yeah. So I thought, what way could I figure out to invent a plunger that cleans itself? And so I did a drawing, and I constructed a shell around the plumber with brushes connected to the outside, and also something on the inside of the shell that uses wire brushes to clean the inside of it too. And so, and plus there's a squirter at the top of the handle of this thing that opens up the shell, and it actually squirts water, sanitizing material over the top of the plunger and under and the inside of the plunger, and there's a little drain hole at the bottom of the shell that drains it all out back into the bathroom toilet. So after somebody uses the plunger, then they can just press the button at the top, and it cleans the plunger right back into the toilet, and then the brushes, when it closes, there's brushes on there that brush and clean the outside and the inside of the plumber, and there's like a little lever on the side, and it closes up the shell, and everything is clean, and the plunger is within the shell, and then it can just be placed wherever it's placed.
I think you might be onto something with that. Now, the whole process of filing it, getting a patent and all that is. Are you comfortable doing all that, or do you need to go to a patent agent or whatever they're called?
I'm comfortable with all that because I remember answering an advertisement and sending away for the inventor's kit. And so it was an inventor's kit that comes with all the materials to put the blueprints on there, how it's created, how it's constructed. But then the thing that's holding me back right now is there's a submission fee to submit it, so that, it's not like they're going to just take any silly invention, and they don't have time for that. So they figure if a person thinks their thing is legitimate enough to be quote-unquote as shown on TV, there's a fee that has to be provided with the invention kit. And then when the fee is provided with the invention kit, if the invention is accepted, then, they figure the fee into the whole thing. So
maybe you should get on Shark Tank with this. Maybe you should go on. Are they still producing Shark Tank?
I've heard of that show, and so that's what it's about, like inventions and stuff, huh?
Right, new products, and people are looking for investors, and the people on Shark Tank, the panelists, the judges, are looking to get behind a product and help you launch.
I remember that now. Yeah,
there you go.
I remember that now, and I definitely don't have stage fright, so yes, that's definitely something I will look into. So there I did. I called and I got educated, so that's very good.
All right, I think you might be onto something. Thank you so much, Mark. Good luck with that. It's not exactly a perpetual motion machine or a time machine, but it's useful, it's practical, and we need that kind of stuff. All right, let's see. Let's go west of the Rockies. Tom is in Salt Lake City. Hey, Tom, good morning.
Hey, Richard. Hey, first-time caller.
Welcome aboard. You made it.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, I tuned in about the time I heard just the tail end of you mentioning about pet sensing phenomena in the house type of thing.
Right. 88% of dog owners believe their pooch can perceive the paranormal. There's something for fans of alliteration.
Yes, we had an experience. I'm 63 years old, live in Salt Lake City in my teens. Growing up in the house, we would go downstairs and kind of alone doing the laundry and had just some of that common kind of feeling like some presence down there, and you kind of look to see if one of your siblings was standing off to the side, and it was just the hair on the back of your neck kind of thing would be going on. At one point, we got a little Maltese dog who would yap at anybody in the family that would walk from the front door across the living room and kind of nip and bark at their heels as they walked past. And there were many occasions when we'd all be sitting in the living room and the dog would do that same thing to nothing walking across the room. It was nipping at, we would just all be like, what's going on with Albert? The dog's name was Albert, and he would go over and stand and beg at a chair with nothing in it, just dialed in on nothing. And
wow. Was there an old relative that used to sit in that chair that had passed?
No, not necessarily, but we started kind of going, what's going on? And my sister, she was underage to be smoking, but the family knew she smoked, and my mom and dad, and she would go downstairs and smoke. And she would come up with just a weird vibe that something was kind of going, you shouldn't be smoking, you shouldn't. She was like,
okay, I got to jump in here because we're going to take a quick timeout. Stay with us through the break, and we'll get back to you. All right, here is one of my favorite country artists, Chris Stapleton, Maggie's Song, written by the Grammy Award winner the day after the family dogs passed away. How timely is that? Back with more here on Coast to Coast AM.
Run, Maggie, run, with the heart of a rebel child. Oh, run, Maggie, run, be just as free as you are wild. Years later, we moved out on the farm. She followed those kids around, yes, she kept them safe from harm. And she...
KFI, news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks.
I'm Brian Berman from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A nonprofit in Huntington Beach has stepped up to be the wildfire triage center for wildlife in Southern California.
We're ready. We're starting to get the supplies in now.
Wetlands and Wildlife Care Center Executive Director Debbie McGuire says last year birds and mammals came in with burns, smoke inhalation issues, or just covered in soot.
We're the top predators, so they're terrified of us, yet we're trying to help them.
She says donations are critical, anything from cash to bandages for wounds.
We need fluids for their dehydration and burns. We need burn cream, pain management, a lot of medication to handle their pain.
McGuire says if an animal is found burned, it's best to call animal control because a scared animal can cause injuries. Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Canada is keeping its border with the U.S. closed until at least July 21st for non-essential travel. The border was first closed in March of last year at the start of the pandemic. SoCal weather from KFI. Lows in the 60s under cloudy skies. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Bruin.
New crash in Gardena on the southbound side of the 110 at El Segundo Boulevard. All lanes are stopped. You're jammed back to the 105. All lanes remain shut down through Santa Monica. Westbound side of the 10 at Bundy. It's a crash and car fire here. That's got you back up coming off the 405. Also on the 10 west through Santa Monica between 4th Street and the McClure Tunnel. It's Caltrans work till around 6 a.m. with all lanes shut down. Use Ocean Avenue instead. All lanes also closed in Pacoima on the eastbound 210 between the 118 and Wheatwood. Caltrans works around the top of the hour. Back to Tim McClay. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Robert DeBucky.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Aldic Home is the finest source of utterly lifelike silk flowers and trees in the country. Aldic is nothing short of magical. It's the kind of place you just don't want to leave. And now, Aldic has the most beautiful patio furniture from Summer Classics. All made to your specifications in over 140 fabrics and colors. Your home and your patio deserve a visit to Aldic on Sepulveda Boulevard in Van Nuys or on the web at aldichome.com. That's ALDIK home.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
And AMCO offers payment plan options for almost any credit situation. So it's easier than ever to fix it fast and pay it off slow. That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
We all have wished at one time or another if we could just do two things at the same time. Well, if you're about to refinance or purchase a new home, here are two things you should absolutely do at the same time. Apply with at least two lenders. Mark Tice here from HMS Capital. Having two loans processed at the same time accomplishes a couple of important things. First, it maintains continuing competition for you, the customer, right up to the finish line. This results in a lower interest rate that saves you money. Second, it improves your chances of a successful transaction by eliminating the dependence on a single lender. HMS Capital requires no advance fees to apply, there's no appraisal fee, and no credit fee. With our razor-sharp interest rates, we are completely confident that no matter how many lenders you apply with, we will win your business. So call HMS Capital today and let us show you how doing two things at once really can save you money. Call HMS Capital at 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. That's 833-255-5698. Or go to hmscapital.com.
HMS Capital Funding is a DBA of Golden Gate Firing. MNLS ID number 2427. HMS Capital is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and is the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 4130360. Equal housing lender.
KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Anybody caught creating a robocall and convicted, it should be the death penalty. It's that simple.
I'm okay with that.
No kidding, we all are.
Bill Handel.
Robocalls.
Mornings from 6 to 10 on KFI. KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Talk to Richard Serrett. Call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk to Richard from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll-free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrett.
Sitting in for George Norrie, playing for change and knocking on heaven's door. To honor Bob Dylan's 80th birthday back on May 24th, this intimate acoustic rendition was performed live outside by Afro Fiesta, based in South Africa, and comprised of Mermins Mosengo and Jason Tamba, both originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, along with Twanguero from Madrid, Spain, and Aitawa from St. Anne, Jamaica. Anyway, that's a great tune. Love that version. Can a $10 million helmet unlock the secrets of the mind? Well, over the next few weeks, a company called Colonel will begin sending dozens of customers across the U.S. a $50,000 helmet that can, crudely speaking, read their mind. Weighing a couple of pounds each, the helmet contains nests of sensors and other electronics that measure and analyze a brain's electrical impulses and blood flow at the speed of thought, providing a window into how the organ responds to the world. The basic technology has been around for years, but it's usually found in room-sized machines that can cost millions of dollars and require patients to sit still in a clinical setting. The promise of a leagues more affordable technology that anyone can wear and walk around with is, well, mind-bending. Excited researchers anticipate using the helmets to gain insight into brain aging, mental disorders, concussions, stroke, and the mechanics behind previously metaphysical experiences such as meditation and psychedelic trips. To make progress on all the fronts that we need to do as a society, we have to bring the brain online, says Brian Johnson, who spent more than 5 years and raised about $110 million, half of it his own money, to develop the helmets. If you're interested in the strange and unexplained UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, or life after death, you might just find your soulmate at Paranormal Date and 60 Plus as well. Here's Tom Danheiser to tell us more. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Richard, how long have you been married?
21 years in September.
Excellent. Congratulations. And do you remember where you met your wife?
Oh, absolutely. I met her at a radio station.
You better be able to answer that. Well, listen, we have paranormaldate.com for people that want to meet like-minded people. Sometimes seniors who are 60 plus, maybe they want to meet people a little bit more mature. So for them, we've created paranormaldate.com/seniors, and there they can find 60 plus people that think like they do. So people can head over to paranormaldate.com or paranormaldate.com/seniors, or in your case, your local radio station.
Fantastic. All right, Tom, we'll talk again soon.
Thanks.
All right, we've got another Tom in Salt Lake City holding on. He's got a pooch that perceives the paranormal. I love that, the 3 Ps. All right, we'll get back to his call and your calls as well when Open Lines continues on Coast to Coast AM.
Credit Karma Money is a new checking account that lets you win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. And when you make a purchase between June 8th and June 30th, you'll be entered to win $1 million. Visit creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply.
Here's country music superstar Brad Paisley for Publishers Clearinghouse.
I'm helping Publishers Clearinghouse change people's lives, and you could be next.
There are just days left to enter to win $1,000 a day for life from Publishers Clearinghouse on June 30th.
Real people just like you really do win.
Don't miss your last chance to win. Enter before it's too late at PCH.com.
Can you imagine? You've got to be in it to win it.
Win $1,000 a day for life. Enter now at PCH.com. Entries due 6/24. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited.
Real people, real stories.
I have suffered for years and years, and it was one of those things that I was just willing to try most anything, and so I ordered the Carnivora. I had acute eczema and hives. I had been to minimum of 3 different dermatologists. They always gave me another cream or another ointment to put on that was supposed to help relieve the itching. I have tried every cream and ointment that you can imagine. I promise you it was pretty miserable. So I started taking the Carnivora, and at this point I don't want to ever be without it. I don't want to go back back there again?
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivora.com. That's CARNIVORA.com.
And we are back. Tom is in Salt Lake City. He's got a little Maltese, I think you said it was, Tom, who may be seeing ghosts. He'll sit up and beg in front of an easy chair. There's nobody there. And so what do you think's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as my brother and I got older, we kind of had to shift into the basement area for some room in the house. And I would find myself having dreams that, as strange as it sounds, weren't my dreams. It was kind of like, what am I picking up here? What's going on? Eventually, we went to the neighbor's house, and she was about a 90-year-old lady, lived there, and we asked her, you know, hey, who was here before us? Or anything strange occur in the house? And she said that it was a big secret that occurred where a member of a very strict religious family lived there, and the young daughter became pregnant. And it was such an embarrassment for the father and the parents that she was told she quit going to school. They kept her in the house. And the father said, you know, you will not leave this house. You're never going to leave this house. And apparently, this is the neighbor lady talking, the young girl died in childbirth in the house.
Oh dear, that's a terrible, terrible tragedy.
Yeah. The baby was given to the aunt, and as she communicated that story, we were all just, okay, that explains the smoking thing. With you shouldn't smoke, and kind of the religious kind of thing coming across to my sister, and it also explained in that kind of that trauma, the dad's commands, or, you know, you'll never leave this house. So we just figured the spirit of that young girl was still obeying the father's orders that you'll never leave the house. And she was just, as a spirit, kind of stuck there.
Earthbound, right. And your dog was picking up on her presence.
Oh, yeah.
Great story, Tom. Thank you so much, and thanks for holding on through the break to tell us the rest of that. It was worth the wait. Todd is in Seattle, Washington. Hey, Todd, good morning. Welcome to Coast.
Hi, Richard. Thank you. I want to ask you if you had remembered the 1967 G.I. Joe Mountie or the Canadian Commando G.I. Joe, which was identical to the British Commando.
I don't. That's a little before my time. My first G.I. Joe, I remember distinctly. I got it for my 7th birthday, 1971, and it was the NASA G.I. Joe in the astronaut suit with the white, you know, the white, I don't know what you call that, like a jumpsuit that zipped up, and the white boots, the astronaut boots, and he had a brush cut. He had real kind of bristles, real bristle hair.
Yeah, that's very fascinating, sir. Now, 1970 was the last year that was manufactured, so you were right on the cusp, you know, because all the astronaut toys took a nosedive right at that time, you know. And,
wow, you know a lot about toys. You're a collector, it sounds like.
Yes, sir. I'm an inventor, and I invent G.I. Joe figures, but the problem is Hasbro has banned me from the company, so I'm public enemy number 1 to Hasbro. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about Canadian history. Now, it appears that Canadian troops served in the American Civil War on the rebel side, They may have served on both sides, but it's just very curious. You know, if you look up the combatants of any single war, it's always very different than the kind of white man's version that we get through history. So if Hasbro were to ever do a certain era, like say the Canadian military history, you know, it would, with the Indians and so forth, it would look very different than, you know, any perception we may have of history.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Now, well, of course, there was no Canada, technically, during the Civil War, because we didn't come into, we weren't a country until 1867, 2 years after the Civil War ended. But I'm sure there were people who lived up here in Upper Canada, or Lower Canada, as it was called, or what was it called, West Rupert's land, that perhaps, you know, served down in the on one side or the other during the Civil War. Thanks so much for the call. Let's go back to Michigan and say hi to Jake, first-time caller. Hey, Jake, welcome. Oh, we lost Jake. All right, you know what? I'm going to go back to the truckers. Rick is trucking in Florida, east of the Rockies. Rick, hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Terrific. I'm going to ask you what I asked Don earlier while he was driving. What are you hauling tonight, if you can tell me?
I just made a delivery in South Florida to a grocery store distribution center. Now I'm empty, heading to the house for a couple of days.
All right. Well, for some well-deserved rest and family time. Okay. What do you got for us tonight, Rick?
I got a question for you. I believe the report, the UFO report, comes out Monday. I'm wondering if you think there's a possibility that if ETs have been here and they've been in contact with world governments, if the opening up of the possibility of UFOs and ETs over the last few years is because the world governments know that maybe the ETs have said, look, we're going to reveal ourselves to the masses. So if you want to do something to prepare them, go ahead and prepare them. Do you think there's any possibility of that whatsoever?
Perhaps a remote chance, but I'm not holding my breath. I think essentially what we'll hear is much of what we've heard before. They may push the needle a little bit towards the possibility that these are off-planet. They'll say they're not ours. They'll reiterate they're not ours. They may try and even hint that there's a remote possibility that this technology has somehow found its way into America's adversaries. That would play, into their narrative. If they're, looking at increasing defense budgets, of course, they're always interested in doing that. Maybe more money for the Space Force. So they'll try to use this to their advantage, I think. But I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe we're going to get any sort of clear and clean kind of disclosure announcement that these are extraterrestrial or interdimensional. They'll probably hedge their bets. They could be off planet, but we don't have any definitive proof. They could be our adversaries. We're not sure. We're looking into it, but they're definitely not ours. I think we'll hear something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And drive safely and enjoy your rest. Let's see. West of the Rockies. Well, no Rockies up here. Well, it'd be east of the Rockies up here in Canada. But it's Carrie in Winnipeg. Hey, Carrie. How are you? Do we have Carrie?
Yeah. Can you hear
You're on the air. I can, yes. Make sure your radio's turned off, Carrie.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Terrific. All right. You're in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm near Winnipeg, Glenora, a small town, actually. But
all right.
I just thought I'd give a landmark everybody knows. And, yeah, I was going to mention about a couple of inventions. One invention I thought I had, but after research, I found that it had been created already. But have you ever heard of a device that saves people in avalanches?
A device that saves people in avalanches. Well, what kind of a device? Are we talking about a flare or something to help people, get out of if they're buried in snow?
Well, this is the thing. It doesn't seem to be that well known, but the product is out there, and it's a simple airbag. So people are going helicopter skiing and they get caught lunch. They pull the airbag and inflate and it keeps them up of the avalanche. And it's almost 100% success rate in keeping people alive.
All right, almost like a life jacket, except for the snow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
you thought of this, but then you discovered that someone else had thought of it first.
That's right. So that's fine. It's out there saving lives, but I'm surprised that it's not more well known because it should be utilized a lot, I think. And
for sure.
Another idea that I don't know that I could actually get a patent or anything on it. I'll just put it out there. But another safety thing is every year, well, maybe the pandemic so much, but cruise lines report on cruise lines every year. You can research it, and I don't know how many go over every year, but it's people go a lot, and it's really surprising. And so, there's an idea in cruise line listing, so they should adopt this. So they have a radio perimeter around the railings of the cruise ship, and every passenger has, when you're in the hospital, those really strong paper everything chip in it. So it could be on your ankle, and so anybody who's got the radio perimeter.
Sorry, Carrie, I got to move along because your phone is breaking up. I'm sorry. I'm only getting every third word or so. Unfortunately, the connection is not great. I appreciate you calling, though. Call again sometime, and hopefully you can get a better connection. All right, let's say hi to first-time caller. Dave is in San Antonio. Hey, David, welcome.
Hey, thank you. First-time caller. I've listened to this talk show for years and years.
All right, welcome. You made it.
Was that one day I was driving through this main street where the traffic, it was on a Friday night, the traffic always packed on that road, on that street. All of a sudden I look in front of me and there's this big, I'll say it's like a spaceship, like in the movies, right in front of me. And when I turn around to see everybody around the street, because it was busy, I start turning around and I don't see any movement. So I drive into the parking lot of a supermarket because I want to get up and see it. And by that time, when I turn around and went into the supermarket parking lot, I get off the car and I look up and it's not there anymore. And I look around and it's nobody. Then I get back in and I start driving. Then all of a sudden, the street's all full of people again. And I don't know if I was gone for a couple of minutes from there, or something, but it's really freaking out.
I'll bet it did. How big was it?
From where I was driving, and then I could say I went under it because I went into the parking lot. It must have been close to about 15 feet wide.
And it was just hovering there silently?
Right there, yeah, right in front of me, all bright. It was like, white light bulbs, white. All around it.
Did you see any windows, any doors?
No, I couldn't see that because it was so bright.
And you said as you're driving under it, everything else around you seemed to have stopped?
Yes, like there's normally right as I drove into the parking lot of the store of the shopping center, across the street there was a bar and it's only full of people, and when I looked around I couldn't see anybody or nothing or cars moving by, and then after a while when I get back in and start driving, I see all this traffic.
That's a